Всем привет, ребята! Я очень рада, что вы нашли время посмотреть данное видео, потому что сегодня видео будет необычного формата. Это не путешествие, это будет интервью на английском языке. Если вам интересно, обязательно посмотрите. Видео основано на том, что примерно месяц назад я опубликовала пост у себя на странице в Инстаграм о том, что я поддерживаю своих друзей ЛГБТ и столкнулась с огромной агрессией. И в основном это просто непонимание людьми разницы между, допустим, гей и педофил. Поэтому сегодня я задала несколько вопросов своему знакомому Рикардо, и он максимально честно ответил на эти вопросы. Посмотрите видео и обязательно делитесь вашим мнением. Пишите комментарии здесь на YouTube, либо у меня на странице в Инстаграм. Оставлю ссылочку под видео. Мне очень интересно ваше мнение.
Sure. Well, my name is Ricardо Galaviz. I work for Journey House Community Center. I'm located on Milwaukee's South Side. I've been there for just under 10 years in many different capacities. Prior to that, I did work in education with Milwaukee Public Schools, and that's really what opened up my mind and I think my life to getting involved in the community and working with families. And just really trying to, be, I think, a advocate for people in need, communities in need, and trying to, I think, connect resources to people who need them. Well, I think one of the biggest things that everybody can do is educate themselves. Just educating yourselves on what's going on in that particular environment and those communities, educating themselves on what it means to be gender non-conforming or the struggle, even just understanding the struggle. So with education and empathy, I think that communities could do a lot better at serving really any other group. In this particular case, the gender non-conforming, creating safe spaces, I think creating opportunities for these people to be successful and proactively finding ways to create welcoming environments for all people. Well, I mean, it's not, first of all, I don't think it's a disease. Being in the LGBT community, it's not a choice, it's not something that we suffer from, it's not something that's gonna bring down the quality of your life, it's not a condition that we have to deal with, it's just a state of being. I don't think that, I do believe that people are starting to change on their perceptions of what it means to be LGBT, but absolutely in no way do I think it is anything negative. I think it's really, again, like I said, if you're creating those safe environments, then it could be something that isn't even a factor for most people. I don't think that most people in the LGBT community who've grown up and have a healthy life, they would never consider it to be any sort of malady or disease or anything like that. So no, I do not think it is a disease. No. Well, you know what? I think that the negative outcomes of communities supporting the LGBT community would only occur if they don't have LGBT members of the community also involved in that planning process or in how those things are to look. Where things could get negative would be if a community imposes what they think that the LGBT community needs or wants, or it's really important to speak to that community, get that community involved, and then work together in order to create these safe places, in order to create a welcoming environment. You really need to get the input of members from the LGBT community. I don't necessarily think that there is just a lot of anger. I believe that anger is always a secondary emotion that comes from other emotions. So I do think that there is a lot of hurt in the LGBT community. I think there's a lot of misunderstanding. I think there's a lot of fear on both sides. So when you have those kinds of emotions coming up, and you have to remember, a lot of us in the community, when we're growing up, no one ever really tells you what is right or what's wrong. You get these things based on a lot of inferences. So when you start seeing the way other people in the LGBT community are treated, that's what causes other members to maybe close up or hide things or start lying about things. And then again, because we're not as visible in some communities, people that are not involved in the LGBT community have a tendency to, I think, judge or maybe assume things about the community. And then again, that assumption and that judgment, that is being aimed towards the LGBT community, we don't always, react in the best ways. And that's in any community that's being judged or being marginalized. So again, I think it's coming from a lot of hurt. It's coming from a lot of just misunderstanding. And that's why, again, like I said earlier, education and an understanding and creating a welcoming environment is very important, because there's people out there who have things to say and have things that they want to speak on, but if they don't feel safe and if they don't feel welcomed and they don't feel a part of any community, they're not going to do it in healthy ways, or they'll find unhealthy ways to get those messages across, and oftentimes it will come across as anger. Well, the future of the LGBT community, I hope, is complete acceptance, right? Is support and acceptance the way any community, I think that's the idea of any community. I've been saying, a welcoming environment, places where people can feel like they can be themselves. And again, supporting those environments, being a part of that community. I think one of the worst things that could happen would be that if the community is not supported, then you kind of go into pushing that community underground. And when things are underground, that's again where we lead to maybe unhealthy coping mechanisms. If a community is not supported, you're going to see them turn to crime, turn to prostitution, turn to drugs, turn to alcohol, rather than having healthy ways of coping with these things, being part of the community, fundraising for each other, creating scholarships for each other, education, and supporting people in whatever their career or financial goals may be. So I think, again, first of all, a big way to support would just be an ally, right? Be an ally to the LGBT community. Be an ally really to anybody. Learn about them. Make friends that way. And of course, nobody in the community wants to feel like they're a target or like they're an experimentation, that we are only being brought to the table because of our LGBT background. But I think it's important, like I said, the education of the community in general. Even people within the LGBT community may not be experts on the issues that affect our community. But again, it's important to work together with members of the LGBT community and allies to create healthy places and spaces for all people, really. And again, I just want to re-emphasize that I think it isn't so much about wondering where it will go, because studies have shown, and just I think all around the world, you see what happens when a community is supported versus when a community is being put down or trying to basically be eradicated. It never ends good for either community. And the idea is to just have a world where there's peace, where there's love, where there's welcoming, And I think that that's important. And it's not a job for just one side or the other. It's something that everybody can can find their own part in this world of inclusion. It's still, I think there's a lot of people who are still hidden or hiding, or that don't feel comfortable being publicly LGBT. Even myself, it was something that I had to learn because of how many years of my parents telling me, okay, you can be this way, but just don't let anybody know.
Oh, really?
You know, you can be this way, but not in a professional setting, or not in an academic setting, or not, you know what I'm saying? And then when you grow up, or not when you grow up, but as I have, moved into professional environments and seeing how, first of all, it's not even an issue to my supervisors or to the organizations that I've worked with or for. It's not an issue. It has never kept me from being successful, and it only really because of the LGBT community, it's actually helped me become successful from people that I've met in the community who have connections and have helped me empower myself and lift myself up. You lose friends, you lose family members sometimes. Some people have lost jobs.
Which is, I think I can relate, because it always happens when you just choose to become yourself, no matter which orientation you choose, which way
Absolutely.
you choose, which way it is. It always hurts, and it sometimes makes you lose your best friends, your environment, which is not bad, because on the way to yourself you find someone else who can support you.
Exactly.
And then it never depends on who you are, I mean your orientation.
And that's why it's so important that support is so important, because the reality is that many people do lose their support system when they come out, whether it be friends or family. So when you lose your support system, what do you turn to? And that's where, like I was, making those points of drugs and alcohol, prostitution, promiscuity. If you don't have this unconditional love from your family, you're then going to be constantly looking for it in possibly dangerous situations.
I do like how you say unconditional love. So love, I guess, is always unconditional. If it's conditional, it's not love. It's just like being in a codependent relationships when you have to be certain thing so that someone can love you.
There can be LGBT people woven into any community, but the only ones you're going to notice are maybe the ones who are acting out, maybe who are being a little obnoxious, being flamboyant. They're the ones that are, waving a big pride flag, running around in a tutu, the ones that are being hypersexual, the ones that are being... And so when those are the people that are noticed, that's everybody else's perception is, the gay community is like this. The gay community is just the ones that go drinking, the ones that do the drugs, the ones that are drag queens, the ones that are this. And you're not seeing the professionals, the athletes, the lawyers, the doctors, the teachers, the mothers, the brothers, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I say visibility is important.
And then do not going into generalization. Like if you meet one gay who is just like, let's say, a bad human being, it doesn't mean that all like lesbians or gays or whatever are just the same.
We all bleed, we all cry, we all want a connection, we all want love. Doesn't matter where you come from. I think that's just the basis of human values.
Yeah. Great.
Cool.
Thank you so much. It was a very nice time and nice conversation. This one is not gonna work for me today. Do you see yourself in the camera?
Yeah, all the way, my whole, everything.
Cool, yes.
It's recording?
It is.
Oh, okay.
Застряла у меня в голове песня. How do you sleep when you lie to me? Что-то такое дальше там. Окей.